What's going on, YouTube? GraveCinder here, and welcome back for episode number 28. I'm actually excited to get into this one. I'm sure you guys saw from the time lapse that I did some major changes in the newly developed area that we had over in the new tile. But before we get into that, we did have a pretty gnarly fire, and it burnt down most of our farming area as well as the trees. And some of these buildings actually need to be destroyed or demolished, like this one right here. Nothing left of it. And it's not over yet. It's still going, and we'll see how far it gets. It's a good thing that I have a couple of fire stations spread out across this area over here. Before we get into the plan for the episode, currently we're sitting at almost 5 million in the bank. That's money we can spend right away. 39,000 incoming, 54, nearly 55,000 residents, and decreasing because we got rid of a whole town, if you will. Moving over to this area. As you guys can see, I cleared out the trees as well, ready for expansion, but here's why I did all of this. If you recall the layout and how it looked right here, we were kind of locked in. We had no exit plan, if you will, for this particular area here. So I'm sure you guys heard me say before, I'll say it again. We do plan on buying that tile ahead of us right now. Once we get to 60,000 population, and the way the layout sat there, we didn't really have a way to get into there without rearranging a whole bunch of stuff. The other thing is the freeform low density residential neighborhood that I had going was more of a waste of space, if you will, rather than functional or appealing. So that is one of the other reasons why I decided to get rid of it. And we're gonna need more room. I'm not sure if we're gonna have enough room in the remainder of the tiles that we can unlock to reach that 100,000 population, which is the goal for this series. So it's kind of where I'm at right now. The reason why I went ahead and pretty much demolished everything in this area, and now we get to rebuild. We get to make it look a lot nicer. I also went ahead and redid this interchange over here. It looks a little bit different. The idea behind it is options, and I also created an additional way for trucks or garbage trucks to get into the city, so they don't clog up the area over here. And how I plan on developing this area over here, so everything to the left of the highway, so right in this area, is going to be low density residential. And over here to the right, we're going to have a commercial area for these folks over here to come and shop and spend their money, spend their hard-earned money. One additional thing that I thought about doing is possibly, maybe, indefinitely putting in a river that turns into like a little lake right here. And I've been wanting to move the water pumping stations from here for a while now, and I think that might be a good area for them. But in order for that to happen, now that I think about it twice, we are going to have a pretty large lake, and I would rather not take up much room with the lake in this area. So I will give that some thought. That may or may not happen, but first we have to come up with a layout for the new area here. I will go ahead and do that. I will turn everything into a time lapse, and we'll also go ahead and upgrade this one-way roads to highway as well. Put in a couple of connections and go from there. So enjoy yet another time lapse, guys, and I will be back in just a little while. Alright guys, this is the layout that I have come up with. And let's go ahead and resume the simulation, shall we? We can start off over here in this area with a park. Perfect, that'll fit very well right there. And now we can zone some housing. Over here in this triangle, we're gonna go ahead and place a couple of schools, a high school. Can't forget the skating rink, and that we can place right there. That'll look nice. And as you guys can see, I did not move the water pumps. I decided not to go with the river in this area. I personally don't think that it'll look as good as I thought it would be. So we will leave that alone for now. There we go. Everything seems to be pretty well connected. In this area, I do plan on making all of these buildings a level 5. So I made a how-to tutorial on this, if you will, and it worked out pretty well. So we are gonna go ahead and do the same thing in this episode. Well, maybe not in this episode, as it takes time for everything to level up to level 5. So I don't know if we're gonna have quite enough time in this episode, but it'll be something that we work on and complete in the future. There we go. We do have more demand for residential, so let's go ahead and we will start just like so right there. And we can even do that right there. All I'm doing is I'm trying to spread everything out a little bit throughout the whole layout, so we can decide easier where we're gonna put schools and parks. Okay, now that I'm thinking about it, let's see if that larger park will fit. It will. Right there. Perfect.
I invested my energy into getting you the lowest prices possible on athletic gear. Unlike the local sports teams, you can count on us every year. I fight every day.
There we go. We'll put one more right there.
Drop the ball on prices, and that's because low prices and my customers' happiness are not affected by the short fingers mentioned earlier in the advertisement. Just remember,
and here at the entrance, actually we can place
that's who. Check out our ad in the Weekly Nickel.
A couple of plazas. I think they would look nice.
Haven't you been hearing more about disasters lately? I'm not sure if it's just me, but I feel like meteors and sinkholes just didn't happen as much when I was younger. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. One time the street behind my house just disappeared. It was there one day, then gone the next. The weird thing was, nobody seemed to want to talk about it. Maybe it was too scary. Actually, if things
and that should be good.
Maybe I can disappear. That is scary. I need to
Over here on this area, I promised you guys that we're gonna have commercial, so I'll go ahead and do a layout with you here, as opposed to turning it into a time lapse. And just so we don't
an old phone or just leave it on vibrate, we make sure you always hear your phone in our commercials. It's our way of saying we hear you. So
we don't run out of the residential area to be built on. And we'll keep checking on it here in just a moment, but let's see. We can do something like that. Actually, you know what? Let's make this just a tiny bit more interesting. We are gonna make a one-way street. Actually, let's see what one should have been. That is 2 blocks from where it started. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna put a one-way road to go around the commercial area. And we'll put some roads in between with trees to make it look a little bit nicer, of course. There we go. That'll work. We'll switch it up a little bit. Just kind of like we did over in the residential layout, so it's not all just 100% the same exact grid. And if in case you guys are wondering why I did a one-way in and a one-way out, that is to help with traffic, or just kind of reroute the traffic to all over the area. So your truck, you're delivering goods to the commercial area. You're gonna get in over here. Either go up straight around, and ultimately what you're doing is you're coming back out down this way. And here what we'll do is, let me go ahead and grab the road with grass. We are gonna do the opposite. So here you have to go all the way up, turn in, and then go around. And I'm not quite sure exactly what we're going to be putting in this area over here, so we'll leave that up for grabs right now. We're still losing people, and there's a ton of demand for workers, which again, guys, it's 100% understandable. Let's see if our new highway interchange here is having any trouble. And it seems to be doing just a-okay. Kind of close on trash being not enough, so let's go ahead and add an additional incinerator. Power wise, we're okay for now. And let's go ahead and run a power line, a temporary power line. There we go. And now we can start zoning some commercial. We can start out with a couple of higher density buildings here and there. And for now, let's just say that the inner block is going to be high density, and everything else is going to be regular low density commercial. We'll leave a tile gap in between so we can put in a pathway. And we have a fire already in the brand new neighborhood. So that brings me to our next order of business over here. Let's go ahead and make this a dedicated block for services. So fire department, police department, and a clinic. Now a nice thing to do, of course, is to add a cemetery in this area, and perfect spot for it right there. Yep, and some of these houses are leveling up already, which is great to see. And whenever something like this happens, I take the opportunity to turn it into a pathway. And the area here is coming along pretty nicely. Of course, if I may say so myself, if ends up looking half as nice as everything that we have going on over here, I think I'll be a happy camper. This intersection over here, guys, just so you know, is 100% temporary. As you can see, it is having a lot of backup and congestion. That might be something that I work on off camera and just turn it into a time lapse so you guys can see. But for now, that is temporary. We have to make sure not to forget to put a district over here and make sure that it's got a high-rise band. That way these guys don't grow up to be skyscrapers. And we do have a lot more residential demand, so let's go ahead and fill that in. We can even fill that area in right there. And I think on top of deleting this whole neighborhood that was here before, we look at all these abandoned buildings over here. My goodness, simply because of the shortage of workers. We may be having a small death wave as well. That's taking away from the population from rising. Our money is dropping down to looks like we're at 24,000 right now. You know what? Let's go ahead and do that real quick before I end the episode. Let's turn this district over here into a district with a schools out policy, and I will beautify this off camera, I promise. The reason I'm saying that is because a lot of these folks in this area are more than likely refusing to go work at the farms, the forestry industry or the oil industry. So we are gonna make sure that that they do. I think one of you guys commented on a previous episode, and you were asking, well, how is it that that you don't have a lot of flashing workers on your industrial area? Well, my friend, there it is. That is what happens when one, you take away a lot of population, so they lose jobs, and two, when you start zoning new, you don't specify what you want this particular district to be doing. And let's go ahead and make the district over here as well.
But if I could change one thing, it would probably be to see the faces of all our awesome listeners. I'm not sure how I can though, since I'm sitting in this booth all day. Maybe if there was a big chat room or a bunch of mirrors.
There we go. High-rise bin.
We are the leading producer of minerals, ore, and natural resources. Which means
Cool. But let's go ahead and call it an episode there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I know it's been a couple of days since I uploaded a video, but I have been really busy. If you are somebody that's just watching this episode out of nowhere and you have not subscribed yet, if you like the content, please go ahead and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. Also, if you like the video itself, go ahead and give it a like. When we come back for the next episode, we are going to continue working on this area, pretty much finish everything, and hope, really hope that we hit that 60,000 population, so we can expand into this this new tile. And I can only hope that this over here does not do anything permanent to our city. So, guys, thanks again. We'll see you on the next episode. As always, have a good time.